All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Alrighty, alrighty, alrighty. Okay. Let's kill the music. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, guys? What is going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. I'm gonna let this rock out in the background for a little bit. Good evening. Good evening. I think we should be live everywhere. Hold on. We should be live everywhere. The quality is changing. The quality is changing. Hold on, let me get the chat up. The quality is changing. That's all I'm gonna say. The quality is what? Getting better. It's getting better and better and better and better every single day. Hold on, let me make sure that everything is good. Let me do all the technology checks, and then we're gonna fly tonight. We're gonna fly tonight. I may just be rocking out here by myself, as I always say, but that's okay. What is going on? What is going on? Everything looks like it should be looking. You know what I'm saying? The streams are streaming. That's all I'm gonna say. My streamer game is climbing. It is climbing. That's all I'm gonna say. It's climbing. All right. We should be live on Twitch. We should be live on YouTube. We should be live on Facebook. Let me just check Facebook, and then we flying. We flying. You understand? We flying. We flying. What's going on? We're gonna be going in another 2 minutes. 2 minutes and we fly. Let me just do last check of what's it called? Facebook. We should be live. That's all I'm saying. Let me check. Okay. Let me check Last Killer Facebook. Facebook Last Killer. Facebook Last Killer. Okay. Let's throw the Facebook over here. Down and then close this thing right here. Yeah, we good. What's going on, Twitch gang? What's going on, YouTube? What's going on, Facebook? I think this is the shortest time. Like, you see what I'm saying? When I first started, it took me 20 minutes. When there was a problem, I'm panicking. 20 minutes, and then I'm in. You know what I'm saying? The following time, I cut it down to like 15. You know what I'm saying? From 15, we moved down to 10. Now, we flying. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Guys, 2 minutes. Gotta give me my props. I said my promise every single time. I said every single time you see this face, the promise is I will get better. You know what I'm saying? Beforehand, no lights. You know what I'm saying? No lights. No colorful lights. Now, you see the lights. Not just watch something. Just watch something. Lights off. Lights on. I'm a streamer, y'all. Oh my gosh, I'm having a lot of fun tonight. I don't know why I'm being a little bit silly, but yeah, we getting better every single day. What's going on? Welcome into the PYM live show. PYM live show. Let me just kill the music a little bit, and then we gonna fly. We gonna fly. Bam. You come over here. Add you over here, and then we gonna fly. What's going on, guys? Chat's right here. We good? Chat's right here. We good. Let me just make sure OBS is looking. What's going on, guys? Make sure that everything is popping. I'm recording. No issues, no worries. We out here. But welcome into the PYM live show. As I do always. My name is Kelvin. And this is the PYM live show. Basically, PYM stands for Protect Your Mental, and all that it is was just a place and a space that I decided to help create, just to kind of talk all things mental health, try and figure out ways to kind of keep this thing, as I always say it, how to better it, how to build it. The brain, I believe, is a muscle. So if it's a muscle, it can be built and it can grow. So that's what the PYM live is. If you're seeing my face for the first time, my name is Kelvin. Over here we are the PYM militia. Sorry if I popped your ears, but I like doing that at the beginning of it just to wake you up. But the PYM militia, we are a crazy group over here, and all we're doing is that we're fighting the things that fight the mind, like anxiety, depression, low sense of self, low self-esteem, things of that nature. That's all we're fighting over here. It's not any rah-rah, not any I am not a motivational speaker. If you ever see my face before, I'll tell you live, I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm not a rah-rah guy. I refuse. I'm not trying to motivate you. I'm just trying to learn more about the mind and how we can build it and make it better. As I started to do off, and one thing that I will do every single time I get on here is give you guys a reason of why PYM, why we're doing it. And the one thing that I kind of tapped into is I went to university. I graduated, did all of that, in my 20s, and I realized that one thing that happened through my university experience was that it's very easy with the rise of technology to be surrounded with a lot of people but still feel like you're alone, if that makes sense. You can have friends and still feel like you're alone, and that can kind of eat at your psyche. It can eat at your well-being. It can eat at your mental fortitude, if that makes sense. And you can feel, and studies have shown that there's a higher level of social isolation now more than ever, in a place where we're connected more than ever. We can talk to anyone anywhere at any time of the day. And, I felt like it would be cool to have a space and a place where we can share, we can share our, residual strengths. I don't have all the answers. Google has all the answers, but Google sometimes can be of no help. So why not create a place and space where I can maybe give my opinion and it may help someone. You can give your opinions and your experiences and it may help someone else. You know what I'm saying? If we can't find out by ourselves, why not use the mediums we have and see if we can find out better ways to keep this thing called the mind together. You know what I mean? So that's why PYM. I'm so happy to be back. I don't know if there's anyone here in the line with me. How's everyone's week? How's everybody been doing? Everybody been, solid? Was it sad? Was it sucky? I don't know. And whatever you went through this week, whatever you went through weekend, it's Sunday. I hope, that you're kicking and still thriving as much as you potentially can and best can with the resources you have available to you. But it's a Sunday night, nothing crazy. I just thought I'd hop on here for our Sunday night show. I have a few things to cover. I don't know how long I'm gonna be. I really have no idea how long I'm gonna be, because there's some things that boggling the mind and pressing on the heart a little bit. I thought as I do, I'm a ranter. I'm a ranter, guys. I'm a ranter. If I entertain you, thank you. If I help educate you, awesome. If I annoy you, I'm sorry. All the other things I can say. And if you see my face and get annoyed, I don't care. It's for your back pocket. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, man. I have a few things that I wanted to go through. So for tonight, the first thing I'm going to kind of just share on is this is a rant incoming. Before I even get to the rant, I don't know if you guys, let me know if you guys like the setup. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to have a soundboard soon. I'm going to have some few reaction things. The show is going to get better. The show will get better. You heard the music, right? You saw the interlay, right? You know what I mean? You saw that. The opening screen. You saw that. I appreciate you. I'm getting better, man. You got to give me my props. That's all I'm saying. I'm getting better. But, yeah. I'm taking suggestions, recommendations on how I can best improve the experience every time I come on the stream. But yeah, it's getting better, and I'm gonna hop right into what I had on the mind to talk about today. Okay, so I did business in school. I did finance in school. That was my major, And funny enough, the one of the things that we had to do, probably a lot of people did this in university, is we had to take psychology 101. And I'm not no science, like I don't know the sciences like that, but I'm gonna try. We had to take psychology 101. And the psychology was 101. If anyone has taken it in school before, it's a very elementary thing. It's basic, whatever the case may be. And one thing that I think I remember in that class that always stuck with me personally was the fact, like simple things of there's the brain and then there's the mind. You know what I mean? Like there's the brain and there's the mind. There's the concept of the brain, and they've studied the sciences of the brain. And then psychology is the study of the brain as well as some underlying things about the mind. But it's more about the brain and brain processes and the different things that the brain controls. Cool. I understand that. But why I bring that up is that it's so interesting how we can know the brain, and we think that the mind sometimes, like we think that the brain's activities are locked with the mind's activities. And the mind's activities, for some strange reason, is really it's not an element necessarily of science. It really just, the mind's activities is elements of your upbringing, your environments, and your interactions. That's all it is. Like, and I remember that so vividly, like in the class, like that's such an interesting perspective, that something that is so strong as the mind is, yes, there's a lot of science behind it, but it's really built on what we put into it, what it sees, and what we feed it, if that makes sense. So that is like the brain is just a muscle, but the mind is a muscle as well. You know what I mean? So I wanted to just talk a little bit, and every week, I'm gonna give like one thing that, I'm a reader, or I've seen my opinions or my thoughts. I'll give one thing that I thought was pretty cool, or I just wanted to ask or share, for any opinions or people may have over the nature. But, when it comes to, mental health, I don't like saying the word mental health, if that makes sense. I don't like saying building mental health, because health is it's a totality, right? I like to think of it as mental strength. We can measure physical strength on the ability of you to handle like muscles and stuff, and handle weights, rather the ability to handle weights. We can measure financial strength as how many resources you can use to buy stuff and get things. You know what I mean? And for me, I feel like it's more important to focus on mental strength, if that makes sense. Mental strength to me, I don't know if it's a term. This is my terminologies. Like I said, I'm Ghanaian. So my Ghanaianism might come out all the time, so I'm sorry. I'm not using it off of the direct translation. But over here, PYM militia, I believe, I never say what we believe, but what I believe mental strength to me is simply the total amount of resources you have available to you to deal with any mental challenge. That's it. That's what mental strength is to me. So mental strength is the total strength you have for the total challenges you face. As simple as that. Now, when it comes to mental strength, right, I felt like, I was coming on to talk to you guys, and I really wanted to just give a practical way, of or an easy thing that you could do right now to help build mental strength. Like I said, mental strength is basically the total resources available to you mentally to handle the challenges you face mentally. Now, I think that I would not be doing justice if I didn't think of my personal observation. Again, third-party perspective. What I say, third-party perspective. It's always a third-party perspective. Like I said, I'm most of my 20s, I did not have a lot of social media. I did not have a lot of outlets. I was just to myself. Not like I was antisocial or anything, but I just never felt the need to do it. So I have third-party perspective. And the thing that I've seen consistently that social media it is a place where everybody is talking. Every living soul is talking. Everybody is like, when you boil down social media, like to a soup, if that makes sense. You boil it down to a soup. It is a place where everyone is talking. Yeah, there's pictures. Yeah, there's videos. Yeah, there's, GIFs. There's memes. There's all these different things. But it boils down to one thing. To me, it is a place where people are what? Chirping. They are chirping. They are talking, right? And it's so interesting how, again, the mind. Now, again, we focus on how social media has affected the mind and better ways to improve it as a result of your social media interactions. The mind is if there's one consistent thing in my perspective that I think is so heavily linked to your mental strength and mental fortitude. It is that the mind is linked to talking. I'm going to say it again. Your mind is linked to talking. It's just that, like, I'm not gonna try and make it just. I'm not trying to make. I don't know the fancy science terms. I'm not a psychiatrist. We're gonna have some psychiatrists. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a therapist. We're gonna have some therapists as well. But to me, I feel like a big center of your mind is linked to directly to talking, and it's interesting. Like, if you take a step back, right? Human beings, and I'm gonna get a little biological. I'm gonna take y'all back to school. You know what I'm saying? If you hated biology, tune out. Come back a little bit later. Human beings. If I say, like, what is our most unique difference between animal and human beings? To me, it is not language. It is talking. As interesting as that seems, every animal has some kind of communication, whether it's sounds, it's not body language, whatever the case may be. They have their own languages. Don't get me wrong. But I feel that us human beings, our greatest asset is these two things, these lips and the tongue, that we speak. One, not because when we speak, other people listen, but I feel like talking is the only element of human beings that you both speak to another person and you speak to your environment. You know what I mean? Because to talk, you speak, and, like, I'm breaking it down simple. To you speak, you say a word from your brain. Your brain says a bunch of letters combined to make a word. The word is received through a medium. For me, it's my microphone right now, and the microphone is sent to the internet. You guys are hearing it through your headphones. You speak, it gets sent through whatever, air, water, sea, internet, electricity, whatever the heck it's sent through, and you receive it, right? And when you receive it, you understand it and you interpret it however you feel. Science class over. Kelvin, what are you talking about? I'm going somewhere. The mind is linked to speaking, and I feel that if it's linked to speaking, there is a huge, and I mean huge, underlying importance when it comes to speech, and more specifically when it comes to words, right? Words, like, and I can talk like for 2 hours on words, but I'm gonna try to be brief. If there's one thing that we're going to talk a lot about on this channel and on these streams, it is that words, more than anything, severely either not even severely, significantly, I like that word better, significantly affects mental fortitude. And I'm not going to talk if you say, Kelvin, where's the research? I don't know. I can bring you research. We'll ask the researchers for the research, the scientific research. But I'm just saying, from a third-party perspective, I feel that one of the biggest elements of your mental fortitude are words. And let me pace myself. And I feel like if it's not taken for what it is so easy to disregard words, because people talk like out of, I don't even know. People talk like they have they have no conscience of the fact that they're speaking. You know what I mean? And it's that words are one of the biggest elements to your mental fortitude, because one, people are always speaking to you. Two, you're always speaking to people. And three, but most importantly, you are always speaking to yourself. You understand me? We are always speaking to yourself. I remember, I watched a video, and I think, or just a quick little clip, and probably you've heard this before, is that by far, the most common English used word, probably know it, you've probably said it a bajillion times, is what? The word I. You do not use I more than any other word in the English, Merriam, Queen Elizabeth, whoever the heck you want to go. You don't use that word more than anyone else. You say the word I probably millions of times by the time you die, right? And so for me, it's that if you do not really sit down to consciously reflect on the power of words, I feel like you're doing yourself a disservice when it comes to your mental fortitude and your mental strength. Why? Because words carry weight. You know what I mean? There is just something specific about words. And words carry weight basically means that everything you say, whether you choose to accept it or not, affect you, affect people around you, affect the space you're in, indirectly or directly. It's just what happens. I'm not calling it, you can take it how you feel it, but words have the power to if I, for example, if I insult you, right? You can be like, if you break it down simply, you could be chilling, minding your business, and let's say you're chilling, you're watching a game, and someone comes and curses you out for no reason at all. It immediately triggers maybe shock, it triggers anger, it triggers like confusion. You know what I mean? Just based off of someone deciding to say a few words, it enters your state and affects it severely. Or alternatively, you could just be minding, you could be dead, like pissed at everything. Someone comes by, says a 1-2 joke, and you laugh and you smile and your state is switched, right? We take the simple things of life and sometimes it's like we just overlook it as normal. But for me, I feel like over here at PYM, if there's anything that I hope that you would, do interacting with us is understanding the intentionality of words. It is so important when it comes to your mental health, because I feel that yes, there is, therapies, there is, positive reinforcement, there is, different, proper licensed psychotherapy practices that you can probably use and mediums and principles you can probably follow. But before all that, I feel that it is so important to understand the intentionality of words. My biggest pet peeve, or one of my biggest things let me not say pet peeves. I won't say that. One thing I don't understand. I don't understand people who they use self-deprecating words as a means of humor, or I don't know if you ever I don't know if you ever talked to that person like, oh, you know what I'm saying, I'm dumb, I'll never get it, you know what I'm saying, or that could way over my head, I'm too stupid for that, and they and they say that thinking that it is funny. And for me, it's like, what is the humor in making putting yourself down in the effort to seem relatable? That doesn't make any sense to me. What do you gain? You are not more humble. You do not appear more humble when you put yourself down. You don't. Because, and first of all, you think, I don't know why people have this weird thing of, and mind you, people used to do that, and maybe it's a defense mechanism. Sometimes I like to talk to myself. I'm talking to myself because, as I said that, the back of my head said, Kelvin, maybe some people used to do that to cope. I'll address that. And don't worry, I will. But it's that people are so quick in the to open their mouth and say things specifically about themselves that it baffles me, bro. One, if it's you, shouldn't you care the most about yourself? You know what I mean? So if you care the most about yourself, why then do you make it bit like that? If you're trying to talk to someone else, you do the first thing of dissing yourself in the name of relatable or humor or coping or whatever people use. It doesn't make any sense, because why would I value you? Why should I value you more in a conversation when the first step you do in conversation is to devalue yourself using words? You know what I mean? It's all about self, and we'll talk about self-value. You know what I mean? But why? And I'll talk about it. But why should anyone value you when the words you use to describe yourself are nothing but negative? And then the funny thing is, there's another group of people who would say, oh, but it's about knowing yourself and realization. I'm not saying you should think you're God or you're omnipotent when it comes to the things you're good and you're not good at. Because people will say, okay, but at the end of the day, if I know I'm not good at something, I'm not going to be, delusional and think I am. So I'm going to say it. Acknowledging weakness does not have to, I don't know when acknowledging weakness became insulting yourself. You can acknowledge your weakness. Say, I'm not good at math and science. It does not mean you're dumb. You know what I mean? Or if you say, if it's that, you know what, I don't like the way I look, it does not mean you're ugly. It's two different wordings. If you don't like the way you look, that's a personal thing. That's something that there's different things you can do. That's self-acceptance, and we'll talk about that. But it's not to call yourself, I'm ugly. I'm ugly. Like, for what does that do for you? Like, I don't understand why people think that, oh, if you don't like ride the wave of hate, then you're delusional. Cause it's not as if if you hate yourself or you hate on yourself more, it doesn't mean that the world will love you and more. There's no correlation. I've not seen someone who, when they hate on themselves, it brings more love their way. You know what I mean? I've never seen that happen. When you hate on yourself, people just joining on hating on you. You know what I mean? If you roast yourself, people are just joining on roasting on you. The internet specifically is a savage place. You know what I mean? It's a savage place. So why then use negative words to describe yourself? Because when you use those negative words to describe yourself, you know what you are doing? You are eating away at your mental fortitude. And you think that because you are riding on yourself, you're taking away the power from them. It wasn't their power to have in the first place. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't theirs to control in the first place. It was yours. Because again, the value you control, your sense of value is set by you. You set the price of you, bro. Like, you set your price in the market. So I don't see a situation where some pope or some saint is gonna rise up and then value you any higher than you value yourself. They might support, they might give sympathy, they might give you kind words, but your sense of value should come from yourself. Period. And how do you have a good sense of value if the words you use to describe yourself are always negative? There is, like, if everybody described a diamond as garbage or trash or not worth it or stupid or dumb or whatever word comes to your mind, how then can you go to, like, how can then you have described your own product as dumb, stupid, whatever, like whatever negative word you can use, and then you go out to the market and say it's for sale, and then you want me to buy it at the highest price? How does that work in anything? So words are the biggest, like, underlying factor to me when it comes to building your mental health. One, because words hurt, words affect, and at the same time, two, words give a sense of value, as I said before. Two, the words you use to describe yourself become your identity. You know what I mean? That's what I feel. The words you use to describe yourself, somehow now we'll get some psycho whoever people to discuss, like conscious and subconscious. But if every day I describe myself as, I don't know, like slow. If I describe myself as like, yo, I'm just not a fast, let's say I'm an athlete and I say I'm slow, like I can't run fast. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a slow person in general. I can't, my top speed is not high. People with there's some steps where they say like, you know what? Yeah, you know, hey, at the end of the day, you got to know yourself and don't be delusional. Right. Now, if it is that you, like, just because you might not have the fastest speed, if you tell yourself you're slow, why then would you try and want to improve your speed? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's improvement. Athletes are all about improvement. Now, if it's that you tell yourself you're slow, why would you put much effort into training? If, like, because muscles can be developed. Usain Bolt doesn't just pop out of the sky. A bit of it is genetics. Don't get me wrong, but he trains on those genetics. So it's that whatever the state you are in, it can be improved through training. I'm talking again about an athlete. But if I'm always describing myself as slow, do you really think I'm going to put a lot of effort into developing my speed or developing that, if that's the sole goal that I'm going after, right? So no, your identity is really tied to the things you describe yourself as. That's period. Like, that's on period. And the things you let others describe. And I'm talking about words in others, but I'm just talking about words in you. Right? Words form your sense of self-identity. There is nothing wrong. Now, if you cannot highlight your weaknesses, that is delusion. Don't get me wrong. But words form your sense of self-identity. There is nothing flattering. There is nothing honorable. There is nothing humbling about describing yourself as weak or describing yourself as low. Nah, it is that rather if you rather check, like, have a good self-awareness of yourself, it brings in the right people. You know what I'm saying? Like, if, for example, I can use for myself, I'm not the most administratively strong person. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you give me 5 tasks in a day, if I don't tackle all 5 at once, I'll probably do 3 out of 5. That's how I am. Or when it comes, I'm not the most visually, like, creative person. I'm just not. It's just not in me. Like, even like I said, the graphic that I for the into the opening thing, I was very proud of. It might look lame to a lot of people, but I was very proud of that graphic that I did for the opening scene. That's just me. But is that I'm not the most creative person in that element, spatially creative. I'm not, right? But it doesn't mean, like, just because I'm recognizing a weakness doesn't mean that I'm putting myself down, right? I never said that. I'm not the most creative person when it comes to things, but I am a thinker, right? So because I know I'm not the creative person, I would outsource creativity, or I would connect with people who are creative. So if the way I'm seeing things, something looks cool, maybe I can connect with someone who I do know is a creative person, and I'd be like, yo, what do you think? If they say it sucks, then I'm accept it sucks, because probably it wasn't a good idea in my eyes, right? But that's accepting that of my self-identity. But if I'm always describing myself as, no, that doesn't make sense, I don't get it, I'm too dumb, I'm too stupid, who do I think I'm becoming more appealing to by putting yourself down? I just don't get that concept. Like, I really don't. I don't get what it is about, like, people in today that we feel that need to do that. You know what I mean? Like, why? What do you get from doing that? So your identity is, like, your self-identity, really, to me, like, if I describe self-identity is the words you constantly tell yourself, whatever they are. If you call yourself brave all the time, your self-identity is a brave person. If you call yourself adventurous all the time, your self-identity is an adventurous person. If you call yourself dumb all the time, your self-identity is you don't think you're capable of a lot of things. If you call, whatever you call yourself constantly forms your identity, right? So those, again, are words, and those words form labels. Those labels stick to you. You understand me? Am I making sense? Again, this is just a rant, but words, man, words are something that it is key and critical. And I'll talk about how you can build the words. And again, I know, like, people have said all the time, and I'm not like motivational videos and stuff like that. And the reason why I would say I'm not a motivational speaker is because those things are very fleeting, and I'll talk about that. But again, we're talking about words. So there's words and you, right? And again, but at the same time, I believe there's no faster way to help alter your self-identity than words. It's just that simple. Like, I'm not words from other people. Those are observations. Now, I don't want to go over the place. Observations are things that are given from close confidants. That's observations. Words from people that you don't know are just chatter, right? So if it's close circle, close friends, and they're telling you words, and they're trusted like good friends, that's observations. If it's words from people who aren't really the greatest who don't really know you or don't connect on a regular basis, those are just chatter, bro. People online, social media, that one there is noise. Social media, I describe it as noise in terms of the commentary about people. Now, you can comment on someone's work, you can comment on someone's craft, someone's talent, but you comment on someone's person, that's just noise. So, moving on. Words form identity, one, but words are the fastest thing to change your sense of identity and help build mental strength. And all I mean is, if you know you are someone of low, like I said, things we fight, PYM militia, one of the things we fight, low self-esteem. If you know you're someone of low self-esteem, you would be surprised. And it doesn't have to, you just be surprised. Just saying one word, I am who I am. I am who I am. It is as simple as that. I am who I am. Right? Just one sentence. This is a personal thing for me because I used to have low self-esteem, right? I am who I am. Saying that to yourself, it just builds some kind of subconscious reservoir of I am who I am, bro. I can't do more or be more than what I am. I am who I am. I am who I am. That was one sentence I used because I used to struggle with my esteem when I was younger. Is I am who I am, right? So that is a change of I'm not enough to I am who I am, right? That's a change. Like, if you keep telling yourself you're not enough, odds are your esteem will be low. And self-esteem, really, to me, there's Google meanings of self-esteem. Self-esteem over here, to me, simply means the value you attach to yourself. That's it. The value, whatever sense of value you have for yourself and being. It's sort of like if you were an orange in the market, self-esteem is the price you set. That's how I understand self-esteem. It's just the price you set, right? So, hey, if say what is the orange of Kelvin in the market, I'm $1 million orange. You know what I mean? $1 million orange. You know what I'm saying? Multi-billion-dollar orange. Triple $1 billion orange. Don't ask me why I'm $1 billion orange. I can't tell you why. Because if I was on the market, I'd buy me. As simple as that. Don't ask me stupid questions. If I was on the market, I'd buy me. Simple as that. That's why I believe I'm a multi-billion, gajillion, trillion, gazillion orange. You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to buy it at that price, it's okay. It's not. It's my. If I could buy the orange of Kelvin, that's my price. But we're moving on. Esteem. A simple thing of low self-esteem can be built, I believe, on just changing your vocabulary. You know what I'm saying? And changing your vocabulary with yourself is one of the most powerful ways you can help build your mental strength. And if you and you've probably guessed that a big thing, I'm talking about your words and you and words of yourself, a big thing you have to understand is listen to me and listen to me clearly. You have to talk to yourself. It's not crazy. Talk to yourself. If you don't have someone to talk to you, talk to yourself. I don't mean yes, we have a lot of, I'm a person that I have a lot of thoughts. You know what I'm saying? My mind can spin. I sleep actually with white noise on because when I go to bed, I can think of 100 different things before I fall asleep. So I have to sleep with some kind of distraction. I'm like that. I don't know why. But it's that you have to understand that you must actually say the words aloud to yourself. I'm a big proponent of talk to yourself. Because when you talk to yourself, there's something that's interesting about releasing the words into wherever you are and then your ears hearing them and accepting them. It's just interesting, right? So talk to yourself. And that's an underlying practice. We're going to have a PYM, PYM Live, PYM Militia over here, that you got to talk to yourself. But when you're talking to yourself, I'm talking about the words you speak to yourself. Because they build identity, number one, and number two, they're the fastest thing you can do to help change that. Now, if you have deep-rooted problems, that's counsel, that's therapy, that's different meditation techniques, that's different things you can do to help the deep-rooted problems. But a surface, everyday thing you can do is just change the vocabulary you use when you're by yourself. If you can do that on a consistent basis, try it for 7 days, try it for 30 days. I'm not saying you have to recite a whole motivational, you can win. You can do it. Nothing can break you. I'm not saying you have to do all that every single day. But what I am saying is that if you actually have just one sentence you say to yourself every single day, you'll be surprised that it subconsciously becomes a fact. It's the subconscious is real and the subconscious is so powerful. Why is it that we accept without a doubt 1 + 1 is 2? Because we heard it as a kid and everybody told us 1 + 1 is 2. And then they said, what about the out of box thinkers that say 1 + 1 is 3? I'm not talking about that. That's creative. If you can make 1 + 1 is 3, go for it, bro. But we accept subconsciously that if you take one and you take another one and you put it together, the answer you get is 3 letters, TWO, and that's 2, right? But that's a subconscious thing because we've heard it over and over and over again, and we build on that. So if we know that for mathematics, and we know that for addition, why don't we do that for ourselves? If it's things about your mind, you can just say, you can take one thing, one elementary thing. You know what I'm saying? And you move on it, an easy one. I say this all the time. It's funny. When I was growing up, I heard them say, yo, my head is big. You know what I'm saying? My head is big. I say all the time, I should laugh, my head is big. You know what I'm saying? And it was, it was a diss. It was, you know what I'm saying? That 4th grade, 3rd grade, diss. Kelvin got a big head. It is just, we'll talk about middle school and high school foolishness. But for anyone who's a middle schooler or high schooler out there. But it's a simple thing of, I have a big head, bro. My head is big. I don't say the shots to myself. It's just, my head is big. You know what I'm saying? So I said, okay, if my head is big, maybe what should I do to kind of balance it out? After telling myself older that my head is big. So when I was kind of in middle school, high school, going to university, I started going to the gym. Because I'm like, okay, if I have a big head, let me try and get some meat on my bones. It might help it balance out. You know what I mean? So, but it's a 1 + 1 thing. It's on taking it from big head, or your head is huge, to I have a big head. You know what I'm saying? Just changing the vocabulary a little bit. It's a practical example of how you can help change the underlying things that eat away at your mental strength. right? And you can have little things like that on a regular basis that you'd be surprised. Take it a 30-day challenge. Make it a 60-day challenge. And just one thing you say, like at the end of this live stream, the one thing I always say to everyone who would watch this, or anyone who would watch, the PYM militia, is that I wish you perfect health, I wish you perfect wealth, I wish you perfect love, and I wish you perfect self-expression. And that in all that you do, your mind will be secure and is growing every single day. Because I'm hoping that if you hear that every single time you see us, or you see what we're talking about, it can help sink into your subconscious and you start to believe it. You know what I mean? So again, words help change your subconscious. Now, words and others. Words and others. I believe if people are beaten down, most of the time you are beaten down faster by words than you are beaten down by fists. If people are transformed, you are transformed faster by words than you are more transformed by, I don't know, science or nature or forces of nature, right? The agents of transformation, the agents of destructions, they're both words. In anyone's life, it is words. What just happened? In anyone's life, the biggest things that can affect you are words. You know what I'm saying? So it's that you must understand, one, that you have to be conscious of the words people are telling you and the words you're telling others. You know what I'm saying? You cannot allow every single person's words to, one, enter your hearing, and two, alter who you are. You know what I'm saying? It's so important to understand that, because people are always, like I said, and I said at the beginning, social media is a place when you boil it down where everybody is talking, everybody's chatting, right? So if you aren't aware of the words you are allowing into your space, you are not aware of how your mental is being, altered. And I see all the time, we love comments, we love comments. People love commenting, starting beefs in the comments, starting wars in the comments, giving praise and giving support. And I'm sure in this, there will be comments. Some comments will be good. Some comments will be bad. Some comments will be hella funny. It's whatever the case may be. But I have to choose what I choose to actually allow enter my mental and alter my mental. That's as simple as that. Because you can't, you must understand that whatever words are being said to you will always, constantly, that's why when people are in a relationship, right, it's so funny. You can take the hardest guy, you know what I'm saying, or the most built guy, the most I don't even know. You can take the most, you know what I'm saying, tough, hard body guy. The moment he gets a girl, if that girl starts talking to him crazy, he's stressed. You know what I'm saying? He's pissed, because it's so interesting that who is standing beside him as a partner or in a relationship, that person can so dynamically change his mood, change himself, change his level of confidence. That's why I don't get a guy sometimes will prefer a fight than to fight with the girl, because the girl can lash him with some kind, that's why you're this and why you're that. What kind of man are you and all this? And we'll talk about relationship stuff. We'll talk about it, because relationships are a big center for the things that affect this thing. Don't worry. But it's that words can affect us, and that's a typical example in relationships where you can change. I know people who they were one way going into a relationship, and by the time they left the relationship, totally different person. Sometimes it's for a good, sometimes it's for bad, but it's that because they had someone who constantly had access to their ear, they changed who they are, right? And the change can be good, and it can equally be as bad. So you must understand the value of the words entering your ear. That's why I'm so heavily, and PYM Militia, we're so heavily proponent of sometimes throwing away your phone. Because if the world and the internet today, and we are developed in our internet history, is that that if 10 posts are posted, maybe 6 of them are hate, maybe 2 of them are support, and 2 you can't really tell. You can't consume all of them, because that means every 10 posts you read or every 10 comments you read, 6 of them are going to be hate. You know what I mean? I think that's the math on it, right? So you can't consume all of it. You know what I'm saying? So if you're going to post a picture, check a 1-2 dip out. Don't even stay there, because if you stay there, you're going to read something that's going to piss you off. You know what I mean? Because the people who are posting on it's all fake love, and they don't really love you. You know what I mean? That's a whole different topic. So but again, words that affect you. words can affect you. And your words can affect others. You know what I'm saying? Like, your words can drastically change the way someone is. And sometimes, because of the hunt of, like I said, the most often used word is I. Because of the hunt for I don't like this, or I don't like that, or I feel this, there's communication. But communication is over communicated. Now you're just commanding. You know what I'm saying? Now you're just trying to command. And when people command for the name of maybe who's like connected to them by way of friendships or relationships, they're trying to force someone to change for them to suit their needs in that relationship. I'm not talking about, like, it doesn't have to always be like romantic relationships. It can just be friendships or work relationships or professional relationships, whatever the case may be. So your words affect others, and other people's words affect you. And you can say, people can say whatever they want about me. I don't really care. All that stuff sounds nice, bro. But when you're by yourself, if someone says something that really pierces you, bro, you can hard body. I don't care whether you're a guy. I don't care whether you're a girl. I don't care whether you're black, white, blue, green. If someone says something that really pierces you, bro, it will sit with you. You probably neglect. You probably brush it off, forget about it, maybe come back to it, brush it off, forget about it, and it will stay in your psyche, because negative words especially stay longer with you than positive words. It's just something so interesting. Negative words stay with you way longer. And sometimes we're so quick to release negative words, sometimes as defense, as a protective measure. Because it's like, oh, if you talk crap to me, I'm going to talk mess to you. It's just what it is. I'm not going to back down. But the thing is that, no, if someone is talking mess to you, it's like, nah, I respect myself way too much to engage you in your foolishness. I will walk away. I'll just walk away. Now, if it's a fight, that's different. You know what I'm saying? It's not about violence or anything like that. But if it's about a war of words, if I realize you are of no value to me, I want to engage you in your foolishness. You can call me whatever you like, but you will talk to the air. You're not talking to me. If I choose, what are you going to do? If I say I walk away, I'm like, or it's online of all places. If you think if you send hate my way, be a comment or a photo, I'm supposed to engage you, I'll throw my phone somewhere and worry about something else. You know what I mean? Because I don't really care. Now, so it's that you must understand the power of words that you say and what other people say to you. Right? All right. So I've said all this stuff. I've said, what do you do about it? What is one thing that you can start to do from today? Change the way your mouth releases words. If you're talking, talk intentionally. That's all. It's as simple as that. If you talk, mean it. If you're having a conversation, actually be conscious of the things you're saying. And at the same time, be conscious of the things people are saying to you. If it's negative, it has no place in your conversation. You know what I'm saying? It has no place in your conversation. And if it's positive, entertain it. And if you're talking, you give out positive words. You know what I'm saying? Don't give out negative. It doesn't make any sense, because you have to give it out to receive it. Now, I'm a big believer in that. Like, if you change and you're intentional about the things you're saying always, people will always be intentional about the things they say to you. The reason I'm so big on the fact that nobody can actually a lot of people can't disrespect me, because when I'm talking with you, I will give you that respect in conversation, not to insult or come at you crazy. But if someone does decide to actually disrespect in a conversation or call me out of my name or do whatever the case may be, then that's okay, because you know what, that means that you came on a tip of foolishness that I don't want to entertain. You already broke. You took my respect when engaging with you, and you gave me disrespect right off the bat. So you know what? It's all good. Peace to you. I ain't got time. And it's not necessarily backing down, but it's like, I just don't have the mental energy to entertain foolishness. And for me, it is pure foolishness that if I come up to you on the tip, I will come up to you always on the tip of just basic level of respect in conversation. And then when I come with basic level of respect because you think you're so high and mighty, you want to disrespect me, peace. Sorry, you got it, bro. It's all good. I'm not entertaining you because you're not even worth another thought in my mind. That's just me, right? So it's to change and have intentionality when you're talking. And then beyond that, have a set period of changing. When you change the way you talk with yourself. And periodically, measure it. 7 days. If it's one thing, I don't know, whatever it can be. It doesn't have to be big as, I'm unstoppable. It doesn't have to be something so big and grandiose. But it's I am who I am. Like I said, something as simple as that. I am who I am. You know what I mean? And you'd be surprised that something like that could change your scope on things that drastically. All right. So yeah, that's my rant for the day when it comes to, what I was thinking about. But I hope, it can help someone. Again, we on PYM live. I don't know if I'm just rocking out here by myself. It's all good if I am. But subscribe. Subscribe. And that's why I hear streamers say subscribe up if you're seeing this on Twitch, if you're seeing this on YouTube, if you're seeing this on Facebook, whatever the case may be. Subscribe wherever you find it. If there's anyone with the chat, anyone here in the chat with me, let me know you're here in the live. It's all good. If I'm rocking out, if you see this a little bit later, it's all good as well. But yeah, man. Change the way you talk, man. Change the way you talk with yourself, and hopefully it can help and better this thing called the mind. Now, okay, boom. This is something that I said I wanted to talk about briefly. I don't know. We've been rocking for. I don't even know how long we've been rocking for. Oh my goodness, we've been going for a while. I think I'm gonna tackle this last one. I'm gonna save this one for Wednesday then, because we've been rocking for an hour. I never want to keep you guys here for too long. We've been rocking for an hour. Okay. So another quick thing that I wanted us to talk about was, I'm just looking at the time, making sure everything is straight, was basically, something I don't know, like this, like, again, we have PYM terms and we have real life terms. You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm gonna do it. But I don't know, have you ever noticed that, like, when it comes to how people interact with you, right? Have you ever noticed that when talking to anyone, like, you're always surprised? Like, I don't know if it's you, but have you ever been surprised when someone who you think is your friend, or someone who you think is your close confidant, they do something, or they act like they say something about you or act in a certain way where you're surprised, like, yo, how could you actually do that to me, bro? Like, how could you actually move in such a way? And they don't have to be like a close friend, like a really close friend, even someone who's just familiar with you, and it's like the shock situation, like, bro, how's that guy gonna talk to me like that, bro? Or how's that girl gonna actually say that to me? Or how's this coworker actually gonna move like that? And it's like there's a genuine amount of shock when you're engaging in conversation, or when you, like, someone is engaging in conversation with you and they see something and you're just shocked, and it's that shock sits with you, right? And I thought it would be something to talk about, like, to observe carefully, is that level of shock. So I don't know. I think that, when you go through your everyday life, right, one thing that is important to kind of have a focus on is, and I'll say this, and I hope someone gets this. Repeat after me. No one will care about you as much as you do. I'm not frozen. No one will care about you as much as you do. That's just a fact of life. Or no one should care about you as much as you do. Now, there's motherly love that people would say your mom can love you because she brought you into this world. But it's that, you should understand that you are so, like, you should always have the essence of you as your top priority when dealing with other people, because you must know that they don't have that priority. They just won't have that priority, right? And I'll be brief. In conversations with people, when engaging with people, depending on the nature of relationship, you must keep in mind that they don't value your well-being or sanity as much as you do. And it's not to the negative, like, your best friend even might not care, like, it's not to the detriment of, oh my gosh, they suck, but it's that they are thinking about their best interests underlying, as you should. So when they act out of character, you should never be surprised, right? Because you set an expectation that it's understandable if you don't care about me the way I care about me. You know what I'm saying? It's just a comfort, if that makes sense. And that comfort I call self-perception. That's a PYM term. I don't know how it's used, but to me, I call that self-perception. Self-perception is the understanding of you and your care for you, Because if you have a high level of self-perception, you're not really like the pangs of when people maybe disappoint you, or when people talk out of character, or when people move a certain way, it doesn't hit as hard because you already put like an initial kind of like shock absorber, if that makes sense, of I have a high level of self-perception. And that self-perception is I care about me more than any human being can care about me. And it's not necessarily to a negative thing, it's that I have to understand that. So if someone does act out of character, I'm built for it. Right, because it's not about the negative days. The negative days will come, the shocks will come, disappointments will come, failures will come, betrayals will come, heartbreak will come. But it's that if you're built in a way that in the back of your mind, when you're dealing with human beings, you keep that high level of self-perception, it shakes you less. It still shakes you, don't get me wrong, but it just shakes you less. Right, so that's one takeaway is self-perception, man. So I have a high level of self-perception in everything that you do and in people who you interact with, so that when you are shocked, it's not a huge shock. I feel like it's a huger shock when people betray you, when you have the highest level of expectation for them, maybe because out of love or loyalty or relationship or connection. I'm not saying you shouldn't have, like, you need that to be healthy relationships, certain levels of like belief in people. You can't just be anti-people. But if you have that in the back of your mind that, hey, you know what, when it comes to me, I have my best interest in mind at all time, right? It just hits you different, right? So that's self-perception, guys. So, if you're watching this, I'm hoping that, in your everyday life, practice self-perception and dealing with your relationships and your connections, so that if any connection goes left, you're built for it. And that's it. All right. We've been rocking out. I have a lot more to talk about, but I'm gonna save it for Wednesday. I hope, if it's anyone rocking with you, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna get out of here. Like I said, the show is getting better every single time I touch this stream. You know what I mean? I hope you enjoyed it. If there's any comments you have, hey, I would love to, hear from you guys, what you guys think about, the power of words, and at the same time to, how you are trying to improve the word you say to yourself, and, different levels of self-perception as we described it and how to build it. But yeah, man, it's been fun. If you're watching this, I wish you perfect health. I wish you perfect wealth. I wish you perfect love, and I wish you perfect self-expression, and that in everything that you're doing, that your mind is secure and it is growing every single day. All right, I'm gonna say that every time I touch this stream. You guys have a great night. I will be back on Wednesday, 9:30 sharp. You know what I mean? Maybe 9:35, as I always say. But it's been fun. You guys have a great evening, and we should be back on Wednesday.